The story unfolds with the revelation of our protagonist, prisoner number 1334, Lee Seon-ho, accused of the grave crime of murdering his own father. Inside the prison walls, he becomes a target for the brutal aggression of fellow inmates who revel in taunting and assaulting him, driven by the disdain for a patricidal act. Amidst the relentless torment, a particularly vicious man takes pleasure in ruthlessly beating Lee Seon-ho, openly ridiculing him for his filial crime. As the violence escalates, an unexpected intervention occurs. One of the two officers present contemplates stepping into the chaos to save prisoner Lee Seon-ho, but his colleague restrains him, acknowledging that this matter falls under the jurisdiction of an enigmatic figure known as the Old Man. The mere mention of the old man's authority sends a shiver through the prisoners. His influence is absolute, his word akin to divine law. The old man himself enters the tumult, and the atmosphere in the prison changes instantaneously. The prisoners, driven by fear, cease their aggression. Even prisoner 1334, our protagonist, defies the collective fear and charges fiercely toward the old man, driven by frustration and rage. However, before he can act, his right hand, Mule, swiftly pins his head to the ground, thwarting any attempt at violence. The old man, with an air of unwavering authority, instructs the officers to mete out the necessary punishment to prisoner 1334 and departs. Confined within the prison walls, an officer questions the senior about the old man's extraordinary influence. The senior officer reveals that the old man is the sole governing force within the prison, surpassing even the authority of the warden. Rumors swirl about his immense power, suggesting that he could move the world with a mere gesture, akin to an underworld mafia boss. The junior officer is sternly warned against any disobedience, emphasizing the dire consequences he might face. The scene shifts to the old man, commanding his right hand, Mule, to dispose of prisoner 1334 in a secluded location. Mule, obediently carrying out the old man's commands, callously hurls Lee Seon-ho into a pit, simultaneously dousing him with a bottle brimming with thinner. Unaware of the impending peril, our protagonist grapples with the surreal turn of events. In a ruthless twist, Mule ignites a lighter, setting ablaze the pit that entraps our protagonist. Powerless to intervene, Seon-ho faces the onslaught of the inferno, realizing it's too late to thwart Mule's malevolent plan. Amidst the engulfing misfortune of Lee Seon-ho, the narrative rewinds to 12 years prior when our protagonist, a youthful 17-year-old school student, endured bullying from classmates, notably the envious and angered Oh Chang-sik. Fueled by resentment over Seon-ho's academic prowess, Chang-sik mercilessly beats and abuses him, betraying the facade of friendship. Enter the savior, Lee Seung-soo, the class president and grandson of the affluent chairman of the Kai group. Seung-soo intervenes, demanding Chang-sik cease tormenting Seon-ho. Grateful, Seon-ho regards Seung-soo as a righteous and kind individual. Chang-sik, swayed by Seung-soo's intervention, departs with his cohorts. From that pivotal moment, Gi Seung-soo and Lee Seon-ho cultivate a deep friendship, sharing meals during lunch breaks and exchanging ideas without reservation. Unbeknownst to them, Chang-sik festers with jealousy over their growing bond. As night falls, Seon-ho returns home, facing the reproach of his father for his tardiness. Amid the domestic strife, his father inquires about Seon-ho's preparations for an upcoming entrance exam, setting the stage for the unfolding tumultuous events. Lee Seon-ho rudely responds and heads to his room, ignoring his father. Seon-ho, who lives alone with his father after his mother's demise due to illness, has Seung-soo as a close friend. Seung-soo joins to celebrate Seon-ho's successful entrance exam to Hankook University. After sharing the good news with his father, who is overjoyed, Seon-ho receives money to spend with Seung-soo. During their outing, Seon-ho seeks Seung-soo's advice regarding his father. Concerned about leaving his father alone when he moves to the college dormitory, Seon-ho opens up about his long-standing resentment towards his father. He had blamed his father for his mother's death, only realizing later that it was due to an illness. Seung-soo, being a supportive friend, encourages Seon-ho to be honest with his father, assuring him that his father will understand. Taking this advice, Seon-ho decides to have a heart-to-heart with his father the next day, inviting him for a drink. During their conversation, Seon-ho expresses his feelings, and his father, in turn, emphasizes the importance of taking care of his health and not skipping meals. Touched by Seon-ho's words, his father emotionally expresses his desire for Seon-ho's well-being. Seon-ho, with a compassionate heart, promises to return after achieving success, bringing tears to his father's eyes. His father only wishes for Seon-ho to stay healthy and not to face the same fate as his mother. Seon-ho experiences happiness as he reminisces about his family, becoming emotional with his father. A subsequent meeting with Seung-soo provides an opportunity for Seon-ho to express gratitude for the advice that helped clear misunderstandings with his father. However, Seung-soo's appearance raises concerns. His face appears battered or distressed. Despite Seon-ho offering beef bone soup made by his father, Seung-soo reacts strangely, exhibiting shock and odd behavior while expressing gratitude for the soup. Seung-soo hastily makes an excuse and leaves the meeting abruptly, leaving Seon-ho puzzled by his friend's unusual demeanor. Later that night, Seon-ho receives a text from his father inviting him to dinner, mentioning the preparation of beef for his beloved son. As Seon-ho approaches his home, he notices spilled beef bone soup near a lamppost, creating a sense of suspicion regarding his friend Seung-soo. The peculiar incident intensifies the mystery surrounding Seung-soo's behavior. Lee Seon-ho, the protagonist, returns home with excitement, eager to share a meal with his father after overcoming years of hatred. However, upon opening the door, he is shocked and terrified to find his only friend, Gi Seung-soo, standing next to his father's lifeless body. Seung-soo, once a beloved friend, reveals a sinister side, calling out to Seon-ho with evil intentions. The shocking scene leaves Seon-ho paralyzed for a few moments. As the reality of his father's murder sinks in, sorrow and grief transform into a blazing anger and hatred towards Seung-soo. Driven by a desire for revenge, Seon-ho attempts to confront Seung-soo, unaware of the unfolding trap. Seung-soo is not alone. He is accompanied by Chang-sik, the bully who knocks Seon-ho to the ground. Mocking Seon-ho for falling into the deceitful plot, Seung-soo reveals the true nature of their friendship and cruelly taunts Seon-ho as a friend with hands stained by Seon-ho's father's blood. Helpless to save his father, Seon-ho demands answers from Seung-soo about why he committed the murder. Seung-soo, devoid of remorse, orders Chang-sik to force-feed Seon-ho a drug pill, leaving him in a state of despair. With grief for his father and the betrayal by his friend, Seon-ho watches as Seung-soo and Chang-sik erase the evidence, making it appear as if Seon-ho was responsible for the crime. When Seon-ho regains his senses, he discovers himself holding a bloody knife and his hands stained with his father's blood. The police arrive at that moment, arresting Seon-ho for the murder of his own father, plunging him into a nightmarish reality crafted by the betrayal of Seung-soo and Chang-sik. Lee Seon-ho's desperate cries accusing Seung-soo as the murderer fall on deaf ears as he is taken into custody. Despite his vehement protestations of innocence, no one listens, and he finds himself in a situation where he is being interrogated. During the interrogation, damning evidence emerges. His fingerprints are found on the knife, and the neighbor's negative opinions about his father-son relationship further contribute to casting him as the sole suspect in his father's murder. As the court trial unfolds, the accumulating evidence against him leads to a verdict that seals Lee Seon-ho's fate. He is sentenced to life imprisonment for the alleged killing of his father. This devastating outcome worsens Seon-ho's already grim situation, adding the weight of incarceration to the loss of his father. Unable to take any action against the real murderer, Seon-ho's life takes a turn for the worse. Transported to the prison along with other inmates in a bus, Seon-ho is met with a chilling welcome from his new family behind bars. At the prison entrance, he encounters an old man with an evil smile, further intensifying the ominous atmosphere surrounding his unjust imprisonment. In the harsh environment of the prison, Lee Seon-ho continues to face adversity as a psycho prisoner launches a sudden and brutal attack on him. Mocked for being a mood killer, Seon-ho endures the abuse until the psycho prisoner taunts him about his father's murder. Fueled by anger, Seon-ho retaliates, leading to a chaotic brawl. Despite the desire of other prisoners to intervene, they hesitate due to the psychopath's dangerous nature. The situation intensifies as the confrontation escalates, with Seon-ho landing a punch on the psycho prisoner. The brawl spirals out of control, culminating in the psycho prisoner choking Seon-ho. Other prisoners step in to break up the fight, but Seon-ho, overwhelmed by frustration and anger, refuses to endure further abuse and bites the psycho prisoner's shoulder. With the conflict reaching a boiling point, a concerned prisoner contacts the officer to intervene. Seon-ho, identified as prisoner 1334, is then taken to his cell, and orders are given to send him to the punishment room later that night. Meanwhile, the boss of the Jungking gang, Kim Seongdan, makes a late-night visit to the prison to meet with the mysterious old man. Tipping the warden to assist him, Kim Seongdan's arrival hints at a connection between the criminal underworld and the unfolding events within the prison. During the meeting, Jungking's boss encountered an old man who was informed about the demise of Kai Group's chairman, Gi Musun. Jungking's boss requested the old man to allow them to take control of the Kai Group in the absence of the actual leader. The old man became furious with Kim Seongdan, warning him that nobody could mock him as he could perceive everything. Jungking's boss, terrified, began trembling in fear. The old man cautioned him not to disrupt the balance, but Kim Seongdan, once again, interrupted, provoking the old man's anger. The old man, now very angry, issued a final warning, stating that he wouldn't repeat himself if disobedience persisted. Fearing the old man's wrath, Jungking's boss, Kim Seongdan, apologized and bowed, seeking forgiveness. The irate old man threatened him to leave immediately, emphasizing his constant vigilance. Intimidated, Jungking's boss hastily exited the room, leaving the prison in despair. During his car journey, Kim Seongdon recollected the malevolent energy he sensed around the old man, reminiscent of their first encounter in the underworld, sending shivers down his spine. Meanwhile, in the prison, the old man instructed his right hand, Mule, to bring Lee Seonho to him, identified as prisoner 1334. Mule awakened Lee Seonho and escorted him to the location where the old man awaited. Before Seonho could speak harshly to the old man, Mule warned him to mind his tongue while addressing the old man. The old man then commanded Mule to bring Seonho closer for a scrutiny of his criminal eyes. Utilizing his demonic power, the old man closely examined Seonho's eyes and declared that he couldn't be a murderer. Only the old man recognized that Seonho was not the real murderer of his father. Amused, the old man informed Seonho that despite the revenge and anger evident in his eyes, there was no intent to kill someone. Overwhelmed, Seonho began crying and repeatedly insisted that he didn't kill his father, but no one believed him. In that moment, the old man asked Seonho if he sought revenge for his father's murder. Seonho affirmed that he indeed wanted to annihilate every piece of his father's murderer, Seungsu. The old man offered to lend a helping hand in Seonho's revenge, stating that he had done many misdeeds in his past life. After the world changed, he resided in the prison, operating from there due to the multitude of enemies he had accumulated worldwide. To assist Seonho in his revenge, the old man proposed a condition. Seonho, without hesitation, accepted the offer, driven by his determination to kill Seungsu at any cost. The old man explained that in return for his assistance, Seonho had to kill someone for him and subsequently devote his life to the old man. However, Seonho hesitated because he lacked the necessary killing intent behind his desire. Without the intent in his knife, he believed he couldn't take a life. Later, the psycho prisoner resumed bullying Seonho, mocking him for killing his father. The taunts about how he felt while killing his father continued, and Seonho, at that moment, saw a glimpse of his father's murderer, Seungsu, in the face of the psycho. This ignited a surge of rage, anger, and killing intent within Seonho's body. Seonho, fueled by rage and despair, seized a sharp piece of wood, pinning the psycho to the ground and relentlessly stabbing his face while shouting "die" repeatedly. The psycho's associates, frightened by Seonho's ferocity, attempted to call the officer, but Mule intervened, preventing them. At the opportune moment, the old man arrived. Tearful and filled with wrath, Seonho looked at the old man, questioning if he was now qualified to seek revenge and accept his assistance. The old man chuckled and silently laughed, his evil demonic red eye conveying that this was just the beginning. Following that day, Mule continued to train Seonho by beating him with his hands, believing it was the most effective way to instill the necessary killing intent for the job. The seasons passed, and Seonho progressed from autumn to fall to the next summer, honing his skills. He became a physically strong individual, capable of killing with raw power, although still not strong enough to defeat Mule in hand-to-hand combat. Fatigued, Seonho questioned Mule about the duration of their training. Mule explained that the decision rested with the old man, and until then, Seonho had to keep his existence hidden from the other prisoners. 5 years passed since Seonho accepted the old man's offer. During this time, Seonho learned to kill without hesitation and continued to feign weakness, enduring abuse from other prisoners. One night, prisoners with a bounty to assassinate the old man were brought into the prison. Seonho, with the help of an officer, obtained a knife and followed the marked location on the paper. He reached the old man's room and intercepted the assassin, swiftly slicing his neck and eliminating him within seconds. The old man expressed joy and praised Seonho for his successful intervention, acknowledging Mule's effective training. Seonho's actions had saved the old man's life, as Mule had previously warned him to be cautious at night due to uncertainties. The officer who aided the prisoner was apprehended and began pleading for his life before the old man and the chief officer. It was revealed that the orchestrated plan was instigated by Jumkeng Gang's chairman, Kim Seongdon, who had coerced the officer into the scheme. Seongdon implored the old man for forgiveness. Seeing an opportunity in the situation, the old man and Seonho, along with Mule, started framing the officer's absence from the prison. The old man instructed Mule to send Seonho to the incineration plant along with Chief Kim's deceased body. Chief Kim's life was sacrificed to orchestrate a scenario in which prisoner 1334 would be presumed dead, supposedly burning himself accidentally in the incineration plant. This was the scene initially narrated in the story's introduction. After Mule informed Seonho that this might be his final test, he set the incineration plant ablaze and departed from the scene. Not willing to waste a moment, Seonho saw this test as a golden opportunity to break free. Discovering a concealed escape route within the dilapidated wooden shelter beneath the incineration plant, Seonho fervently dug into the ground, determined to liberate himself from the prison's grasp. Meanwhile, an announcement echoed through the prison, revealing the grim discovery of a fully burned corpse identified as prisoner 1334 in the incineration plant. The elderly man, privy to the truth, feigned surprise when the chief officer relayed the news. The demise of old Xiano marked the genesis of a new identity. Embracing the pain, he found newfound motivation to claw his way out of the smoky abyss, relentlessly striving towards the surface. As Xiano glimpsed a flicker of light, he extended his hand. A mysterious figure grasped it, pulling him to safety and saving Li Xianho's life. Introducing himself as Babira, the man claimed allegiance to the elderly figure. Babira offered Xianho a lifeline, a phone to connect with the old man. In a discreet conversation, the old man revealed that prisoner 1334, Li Xianho, was no more. The birth of a new Xianho, now named Mujin, was announced. Old man divulged the purpose behind setting him free and bestowed new clothes upon him, symbolizing the birth of Mujin, a limitless entity. Walking alongside Babira, Mujin learned that he was the go-to person for information related to his newfound purpose. The narrative unfolded as Mujin and Babira encountered Zhang Dioksu, the chairman of Mumu Distribution. Before collaborating, Dioksu decided to put Mujin to the test, engaging him in a visceral hand-to-hand combat. Little did they know, this encounter would set the stage for the challenges that lay ahead, leaving us hanging on the precipice of uncertainty. Thank you for watching till the end. If you hunger for the next part of this recap and crave more exciting recaps, let your voice be heard. Comment down below to let me know you're hungry for more. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, ensuring you never miss a moment of the action. Hit that bell icon to stay updated and be the first to witness the unfolding saga. Until next time, fellow enthusiasts, stay tuned for the next thrilling installment of this manhwa recap series.